Hi and welcome to LaneSmash Game in
10,
19. KATS versus TLDR.
9,
We are a bit late
8,
here due to
7,
not being able to log into the
6,
server, so
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Match start.
yeah. I'm not going to go over the lane because we've seen this lane 900 million times before. We have KATS playing as NC in the south at Tumas Tech Plant. We have two TLDR playing as TR to the north. Chimney Rock is again neutral base. As per usual, the air has gone out to meet the other air.
Looks like our cats are doing a gouge up. Also, hello. I have
No
returned.
signs of the TR mosquitoes here. Where are the mosquitoes? We just seen that the TR are going for a mass Sunday rush here. The Reavers have already seen this. There's probably too many for them to shoot. Just a big general herd, a big migration of Sunras across the whole the lane 1 Haker to Chumas. You'd think maybe
Yeah,
some of
that's
these
the
Sundays
thing.
would stop to shoot some of these Reavers, but it seems that they don't care.
So I see what they're trying to do here with the repair buses, right? But if you're like a season, which many of the cats players are, all you do is just focus down one Sunday, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one, and that's exactly what they're doing. Well, they've even got Falcon Maxes now on the ridge of Chimney Rock, and they've just wiped the road of the buses. That was a nice little play.
How many Sunras survive the migration here? Quite a lot, but those maxes on that hill are going to make it quite difficult, especially with those Reavers. But I don't think many of those Reavers are designed to take out the vehicles. NC do have a few Vanguards that could probably lend a few hands to the yard, taking out a few stragglers on the main road. Vanguards rotating to try and deal with the Sunras. Despite the amount of Sunras, yeah, have not yet got on the point. NC bring up a stunner of that hard spawn. All they have to do is wipe those TR Sunras and then get on the point themselves. Quite surprising that none of these TR Sunras have deployed in the forest to the east to enable some sort of reinforcements here. Not seeing any TR beacons, not even on the rock. I am seeing NC beacons though. It just seems that TR are deploying a Sunra to the northern road, but as much as that's going to help them remains to be seen. Beacon goes up for TR, but there's still not many TR to hold this point. The point could easily be taken by NC here. It seems that TR pretty much gambled on just getting as many force multipliers as they can onto the point, and it hasn't really worked out with them. NC able to, deal with this just by pulling a few maxes, essentially. It's a big nanite drain for TR there. What will be their response? They don't have air control, so any sort of galaxy that comes in is going to get absolutely shut down by this mass amount of Reavers here. The last few TR Sunras getting absolutely picked off one by one. If TR want to get back into this fight, they're going to have to take out that air dominance. NC Reavers already contesting the vehicle base at Haker Chemical, and no doubt focusing on the terminals at the tech plant itself.
Yeah, it was a nice idea with the mass Sunday herd, we'll call it. But it was never going to work against the traditional opener, which Cats was always going to do, right? With all those Reavers. So, and like, I understand why they did it. It's because in the last match they played, I think it was last week, Cats were pretty convincing in the air. But, yeah. There's a reason why
it's one of those things
AA
what
doesn't
could have
work.
worked had they come to like steal it, but as we see here, TR having to pull Mosquitoes just to try and contest the air, you know, and that's a further nanite drain on the overall battle plan they must have, because to even get a Galaxy or a, you know, anybody to that base now, they're going to have to deal with this air, and maybe we'll start to see some TR trying to sneak through, get a beacon. We do see a Sunderer, two Sunderers. They are slowly sneaking through. The Reavers are preoccupied with the Mosquitoes, it would appear, but I'm pretty sure NC had some armor that could probably deal with this. Mainly on the main road. As soon as those Sunderers get spotted out, they're gonna have to be quick about this. They're gonna have to get beacons up. They're gonna have to deploy. 1 minute to go. That one of those Sunderers needs to deploy. We do see one setting up. Is he going to deploy for his comrades? He does set up here. Right on the steep slope here. The guys aren't going to be able to climb over. They're going to have to go all around and go through.
Oh, there's a push-up point. And the point is flipping, actually.
NC with no squishies to count that point. Oh, NC do have one engineer, two engineers that can easily flip the point. 30 seconds on the clock. NC collapsing onto point here for the last 30 seconds. TR using the beacons here, multiple beacons to try and get over this ridge line. NC Sunder is also clad on point. That's going to make it as difficult. Very unfortunate push by TLDR. A very good response by KATS there. They saw it coming and they reacted accordingly, collapsing onto that point. 3 seconds to go. And KATS, as NC, take the first neutral base. That takes them 1-0 ahead. They do have some Reavers up. They could definitely get a beacon up at Hager Chemical Lab if they act pretty quick. I don't think TR have... Oh, TR are already rotating onto the catch point itself. I don't see any sort of NC presence here. Let me just press H to show the population. There's no NC here whatsoever. It does seem that maybe TR are still fighting for the point. TR are on point here at Chimney Rock Depot. NC self-resing, TR unawares. They still have many beacons here. They do have point. They need to be rotating in more and more people as NC rotate outwards towards Hager Chemical.
Yeah, that was a pretty nice back cap. Just KATS making a mistake of sending too many people too far forward too quickly. And TLDR, they still had beacons up from the original contested when it was still neutral, and so they were able to get back in here pretty easily actually.
TR beacon still persist. NC bringing more and more people to take this point. NC seems to have a lot of maxes here. Those maxes wiping the point of the last remaining TLDR. They have one beacon remaining, but it's not going to last for very long. Shrimpy takes out the beacon there. Erots on the vanguard, on the flank, dealing with any sort of stealth sunderers there. I think TR don't have any response solution there, giving time for NC to use their Reavers. They still contain that air dominance here, already pushing onto a chemical lab. TR trying to push what remains of NC off the point. TR pulling a lot of maxes defensively on this point. Obviously, the more people they dedicate to the defense, the less people they're going to have for the offense. Will they give time for NC to bring Sunderers and more manpower to this base? At the moment, it does seem to be a few infantry. NC being goes up, so we should see more. NC still have that air dominance, but no TR armor on the flanks to deal with the Sunderers. NC Reavers keeping the air terminals at the tech light, and the tech plant preoccupied. We do see some Sunderers coming in. The light bridge has been packed. Galaxy coming in for NC. Galaxy drop on the roof, not many. The Dream Team has landed, Shrimpy and Rag it seems. What can they do? No engineers. Obviously that Galaxy can be used as a spawn solution. Max is on the dub. They don't
Looks like
drop.
there's going to be a push on door 1 and dubs at the same time here. They're just stacking up, getting ready.
Yeah, no, there are maxes above the double doors. One max drops. No engineer support here. Pushing into server room. TR very quick to rotate, but the more, as many doors as NC can pick, the more stretched TR will become to defend this base here. But maybe it's going to be a game of circumstance and time. Maybe TR are allowing NC to push as much as they can before they get back camp going in. Big push here on the server room. Still no TR population at Chimney Rock. This would be a perfect time for a back cap as NC invest themselves on pushing these doorways. We do see progress on the big stairs here. One max coming up big stairs. The NC are on point with only one max and 2 infantry on the point. That kind of invalidates any back cap attempt by TLDR. NC pushing from all doorways here, wiping out TLDR on the point. What will their response be? They still have 3 minutes 45 to go. NC have air dominance, they have Galaxies up. NC are pretty much dominating this situation here. Maxes infantry on the bridge to delay them even further. NC holding the terminals here and the garages here at Hegatech plant.
Yeah, that was an excellent push at Hiroka Chemical Lab. They pushed not only the double doors, but almost every other doorway that were available to them, all at the same time. After they had stacked up appropriately, and then they just pushed in, they wiped them, and it was just a really good push. And TLDR's setup just wasn't ready or like solid enough to be able to hold off a push like that. So that was really well played.
Team Spitfire in control of the capture point there. NC being the spawn room, trying to delay any sort of push, but now they've fallen back across the bridge to the server room. They still remain some beacons up where it seems that TLDR response is going to be a mass mosquito pull to try and again win control of the skies. We do see a few Reavers pulling back. Obviously it does seem that KATS are investing more boots on the ground than they are in the air, so this is going to be a great time for TR to destroy any sort of spawn solutions that NC have, any sort of air presence. We do see a lot of mosquitoes trying to deal with what remains of the NC Reavers, whilst a few mosquitoes themselves deal with the vanguards and thunders around the base. But TR will have to abandon these mosquitoes if they want to take back the point. For every Reaver they shoot down, that's another NC infantryman on the point. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what TLDI do here, because that's a massive nanite pull for just the mosquitoes alone, and if they can't kill these maxes in the open, they're not really going to profit from this.
So the thing it does do, right, apart from also forced killing the spawns for the NC, it also allows the TR to push them all the way back into the powerhouse, which might allow the TR to back up, do a push on the individual doorways to retake the point, but it's taken so long.
Yeah, I mean,
and they've invested so much that if it all goes wrong, they could actually get 3-0 pretty easily this half.
Because TR will, even if they do take this base in the next 1 minute, they're going to have to hold it for at least 2 to 3 minutes. So that'll give plenty of time for NC to come back, and they don't have a significant infantry force here. To take the point of combat, I could be wrong here, reducing action on the point. You just see that one TR did try. NC will collapse on the point if they haven't done already. NC in total dominance of this building in here. TR coming in drips and drabs on the northern doors.
Failure is not the path of enlightenment.
40 seconds to go. quite a big vehicle pull as well. A lot of prowlers here, a lot of lightnings here, just to shoot the guys on the stairwell. But what benefit these guys are doing here remains to be seen. But they are applying pressure to the few NC on the point. All TR have to do is just smash up on this doorway and just go and get the point. But if they keep going through small stairs, they're going to get shot by the guys on above and below. They need to focus on one side, and as we see here, they just need to tickle the point, which they are doing. NC on upstairs collapsing. One second. And KATS, NC take the base.
New conglomerate has taken the facility.
Two 0 now, of course, for KATS. Is this where we talk about the NC Max being too powerful?
I mean, you have to give it to TLDR. Still going at it. They are still trying to get onto point. They still have a few stunnerers they can use them to their advantage. There's not many NC on the point. Is there a back cap? It doesn't seem so. TR could definitely get this back cap going. You just see that they are, but there's still quite a few NC that remain on this base. Probably waiting for a galaxy or some sort of transportation.
Yeah, there's way too much NC here to be able to get a back cap at Hooker Chemical Lab.
I mean, that was a great push by TLDR in the first place. I just don't feel that they gave themselves enough fighting time. You know, they were playing so much vehicles. There wasn't like enough attacking force. Essentially, it was a great organization, but I think they did it way too late.
But also, they used way too many like force multipliers in trying to get the base control, right? Not the point control, but like the wider base control, but with the Mozzies, etc., and the Prowlers, which meant they didn't have enough nanites for maxes, and because they didn't have enough nanite for maxes, they couldn't actually counter the NC maxes effectively.
I mean, I counted maybe 3 or 4 prowlers there and a few lightning. You know, that's like half a squad worth of infantry that could have pushed that point in the last few seconds. TR slowly starting to set up on the capture point here at the tech plant. Tech plant. I keep saying tech light. Been playing too much Tarkov. TR trying to get as many vehicles as they can inside the tech plant. Not really sure what prowlers are going to do here. NC Galaxy loading up at Heka Chemical. We're going to see a gal drop here. The Max is dropping on the top of the biolab here, making their way down the support leg of Tech Plant itself. They're going to go for the back double door, I think, but will there be a TR response to this? So TR are aware that they're there. Oh, they don't see the Max. NC pushing in from both sides here. TR scrambling to defend here. That's a lot of Maxes coming through them doorways. Can TR keep them contained? NCR out onto the TR's balcony side. TR fighting to regain control of the upper levels. NC still on the outer balcony. The longest NC wait. We do see an NC Max. They try to come up from behind. See, the point has been taken by two individuals right behind the TR. That's going to bring more and more TR off of the balcony here, which is going to give NC perfect opportunity to push.
Will you truly allow yourself to lose?
NC having a beachhead outside those doors now. TR rotating from the point back up to the balcony. They need to try and contain this push as much as they can. GC4 of that railing would be great to see.
Terran Republic has taken the facility.
Will we see a back cut by TR in the last few seconds before NC can get off this balcony? Ragged going for point, starts flipping that point for NC.
Nine minutes remaining, 9 minutes.
Where is the TL? Where are they going? Are they underground? Are they above ground? Needs to be seen. Are they in the hole?
NC setting up some vehicles in the garage, and then but the TR about to run into it.
We just see a TR push coming in through the middle vehicle bay here, but they are met by a small force of NC with Maxes.
Yeah, that was just that was literally just going into a meat grinder, and well,
NC have
yeah,
Sunderers on the
TLDR
counter
with the
point
back
now.
meat.
I think we do have a push coming for the tunnels, maybe. There's a lot of TR going down underground, down towards the vehicle term. NC are waiting for them. They know it's there. There's a Sunder waiting there with Ball and Cobalt. It seems like every time TR come in, they have NC have the angles covered. Surprised that no one ever really comes in here, goes up the elevator, goes across the center, and comes down the double doors onto the balcony. Could be an option. They would then have control of the balcony onto the capture point, but it just seems that TLDR want to go in through the tunnels and through the openness. I mean, they could even put a beacon down and land on the roof and then come down like NC did. The point itself isn't that well defended by NC, so where are the NC? Where are they keeping the majority of their manpower? We do see a lot of TR on the south side, hugging into one of the buildings. The NC know where they are. They know where that push is going to come from. They can't go back down where they just come from, so they're going to have to make a decision. Do they go for the vehicle bay, or do they just push in again? Both sides are covered. 4 minutes left. Will we see a save by TLDR?
Oh, these rotations for KATS are really nice, as well as the obviously the setup. They've got, you know, they've got a flash, they've got a Sunderer, all the maxes. They're bringing up now a harasser as well. At this point, when there's this much inside of a tech plant, you know, either you bring another team, right, and bring some more people, or you know, perhaps you just start thinking about the next half. But it's a semi-final, at least I think. You don't want to be just handed away points But this, you
They
know,
have a beacon up.
been a
They
disaster for
they
TLDR.
could land on the roof in a fort if they wanted to, push onto the balcony and try and like control the top half of the tech plant. But it does seem that TR are still going in drips and drabs.
Yeah, I think what I would do if I was faced with this issue, you know, about 60-70% of people, I'd have them drop on balcony with maxes and stuff, and then I'd have a smaller force go in through the gun deck teleporters, just to try to you know, spread KATS, and then try to catch them off their rotation, and then hopefully being able to push back onto point here. Will TLDR do that? I don't think so. That's what I'll do. I think that's really the only option which has any chance of working at this point, considering how much cheese KATS has a point here.
Stay alert. Enemy heavy nearby. ISO, enemy heavy.
2 minutes left on the cat. 4 minutes left in the game itself. I wonder what the nanite situation is for TR at the moment. What do they have? Maybe they'll save up for one last hurrah. There's a lot of TR like on the outskirts of the base itself, kind of like fight individual battles against a few remaining NC that are also fighting their own individual battles around the base. We are seeing a few TR on the upper decks of the tech plant here, but they're pushing onto the balcony with light assaults. Do they have a beacon to reinforce this push they're making? I don't see any beacon there, so this push isn't going to go well if they can't reach onto the balcony. So we'll see NC rotate from the point onto the balcony. 1 minute left. These light assaults aren't going to do much against these maxes unless they can get a C4 across the gap in between the two doorways. $40 left on the cap. 2 minutes 30 to spare. It just seems that cohesion for TLDR has broken down in the last few minutes here, but their pushes were very unfortunate to come across the amount of maxes that KATS have.
Well, that's my whole point, right? Is if you push from the have a max push from the balcony, and then a smaller push from the gun deck teleporters, you're actually able to, you know, spread out the KATS maxes, and they have to then choose where to defend.
End of round. End of round.
And that is the end
Please leave the
of
continent
round
while we
1.
flip the lane. For KATS, since I noticed your score isn't showing, the score is currently 3-0 KATS.
Oh, overlay broke. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice. I mean, we know that KATS won pretty much there. Some very unfortunate pushes there by TR. Maybe we'll see them do something completely different in the second round after the Sunrun migration. Didn't work out quite well for them. I can see why they did it. Obviously, it's getting that as many force multipliers as they can onto the point. But NC just literally countered that with a few AV maxes. And TR, with that gamble, obviously they lost that air dominance, which they had to fight for, which is a further nanite terrain. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how they go for the next point. Obviously, TR are very behind on the score now, so they need to get that neutral base and they need to advance. If they don't get the neutral base, then it's going to have to be damage control. So how do you think, Dominus, how do you think that first round went?
I think pretty much as expected, right? Obviously last week they played the same lane in the same matchup, and it was, you know, it was 4-0 to KATS. KATS did have
You
a
may
kind
now
of
return to the lane. The match will resume in approximately 8 minutes.
KATS did have a slightly rocky start to the season. after the defeat to pray for help. But really, you know, since then, things haven't gone too badly. Yeah, they lost to Turtle. But, you know, it's always been expected that the grand final was always going to be Turtle versus Cats, or Cats versus Turtle, whichever way you want to go look at it. And so this 3-0 half, no surprise. Especially, you know, the opener for TLDR. Well, I mean, you know, it's hard to say anything nice about the opener. You know, you can see what they're trying to do there, but it was never going to work. Never. It's just not a lane where that sort of approach will. And Cats isn't even a team which you could pull that off against. You know, maybe if you played, perhaps
That
W
yeah,
Fat
W
or
Fat would have like pulled a lot of vehicles as well, mainly if they didn't pull air.
exactly.
I mean, it's one of the things I've seen TLDR use multiple times. They've used a lot of Sunderers, and quite often than not, and Cats can just read that. And I think they've just set a pattern, really. And maybe Cats were already aware of what they probably would do. But as we've seen in previous Cats games, you know, they will always more or less have that air dominance regardless. And their ground force is considerably smaller than TLDR's, especially when you compare like the majority of TR were in vehicles on multiple bases. Just trying to get that base dominance, but not really focused on the cap dominance.
Hmm.
But credit where credit's due. You know, TR kept going at it. They tried to do a few back caps on Shimmy Rock and on Higher Chemical. I just think they were very unfortunate because they did go for multiple doors, try to get a few peaks there, kind of thing. And NC were just doing really well to block their entrances with maxes, essentially. Makes me wonder if TR will go back to an air opener or they will try and gamble again on their Sunderer.
Snatch will resume in approximately 5 minutes.
Maybe NC won't be expecting a second Sunderer migration.
If I mean,
I mean, they do have the side for it because they can just go down the road, sorry, north of the road, and into the capture point, pretty much a straight line. Whereas when you did it on the northern side, they had to go like literally across open ground through the eastern and then come back upon themselves to come onto the capture point.
yeah, no, I see, but I see the angle you're taking with that, but that's not necessarily the issue. The issue here is the fact that if Cats, as they probably will do, pull air again for their opener, it's just not going to work. Because like I said, when that was happening, is all you have to do is just focus on one Sunday, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one. Um, and then your opener fails. So I really hope we don't see that. But we know how much TLDR like to double pull ESFs and stuff. Well, they're not going to have the nanites really to be able to double pull totally because because they've been on the back foot that entire last half. So really they're out. They're kind of out of options. You know, they don't have many left.
Yeah,
Maybe.
definitely have the ability to get the neutral base. I think it was just very unfortunate in the first round. Like there was a good chance they could have had it. I just think they focused too much on the Sunder and keeping the Sunder alive. Um, Ideally, they could have probably dealt with those maxes on the hill, but like we said, they didn't really have the air dominance to deal with that. So maybe they'll go for a balanced setup. We'll have a look in next minute or so. I think we're at least 3 minutes away from the start here. I could be wrong. We'll see what they have this time around. There was some technical difficulties in the first round. Didn't have time to look at the composition of both teams. So we'll see what TR have in store, and we'll see what NC have in store too.
Oh no. Oh no, Dots, or no.
What's that?
How much time until the half starts? Because I don't really want to say until.
I'm not too sure. There must be at least 2 to 3 minutes. I'm not hearing anything from the
Okay,
rest.
well, I'll hold off on it for now. But yikes! I rarely give a yikes, but that's a yikes.
Is it going to be like a
Well,
Horde of Flashes or something?
No, it's worse. Horde of Flashes might actually work. We'll see. But your thoughts, Dots, on the on the match so far?
On the match so far? Zoom over to the middle of the map. We should be within the realms of the time limit now. So we're going to have a look at the NC first, see what they have. I've got a feeling the Yanks is going to be on the TR side. We do see that NC do have a lot of Reavers again. They do have a Galaxy out. They do have a Liberator this time around. Looking at the vehicles on the ground, they do have a few Vanguards. Not that many. 3. They're probably going to go around the the northern edge of the base down to the eastern side of Chimney Rock. Just avoid any
Match
sort of
resumes in exactly 2 minutes. Again, exactly 2 minutes.
exactly 2 minutes. I was off by a few seconds there. I've yet to see anyone successfully hack this bridge, so I think Army in general will just go north to east and come down either the main road or down to the west. Zooming over to
Yeah, it's a nice meme.
moving over to the TR, they do have 3 galaxies up. Whether or not there's going to be infantry in them, I do not know. It looks like they're going to probably
Okay,
drop.
so
Where's the
I
Yanks?
can tell you. So they've got obviously they've got the bus, they've got Flash, they've got 4 galaxies. Well, there's only one strat or tactic or whatever you want to call it, which makes this viable, and that is of course turtling. However, Dotsaw, turtling on the point at Chimney Rock Depot is incredibly difficult.
1 minute.
It is one of the lanes where
Match will resume on the next in-game nanite tick.
when I
again
was
on the next
FCing,
in-game
I
tick.
can see where this is going to go. Those galaxies are going to come over here. They're going to get intercepted by the Reaver. They're going to drop all infantry on the point, and then they're going to get absolutely harassed by air to ground. The one Sundered that's going to come down this road with the flashes is going to get taken out by the Vanguards. By the Vanguard, they'll come down this road. Once the NC Reavers relay the information that TR don't have that much armor.
Yeah, exactly. So
that galaxy drop's gonna have to be quick, because if those Reavers spot that there's no mosquitoes to deal with.
Oh no, they'll be able to drop on the point, but
and it must be said that TR
but then all
NC
KATS has to do, right, is just drive up some vehicles, be like, hello,
10,
bulldog
9,
the heck out
8,
of them, and then
7,
it's an SCG.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, start.
It must be said that NC do have a galaxy. Not too sure if there's actually anything on it. NC are away here. Reaper's already up in the air. Galaxies are already steaming towards the capture point itself. How are the TR doing? Are they even
Yeah, they're almost at the point here with the galaxies, because the flight time benefits, is in their favor.
We do see a few galaxy coming off to try and buy the landing for some time here. TR getting out. The Reavers are already on the infantry. Exactly what I said is going to happen.
Frank, Might, and Tox, they didn't take the bait. And they just... Oh, that's a lot of damage.
And this is the thing now, it's going to be a long 4 minutes for this infantry on the point. TR have done the right thing to get as many people on the point this time around, but we then see air dominance, no doubt vehicle dominance as well. They're going to bring as many Vanguard Sunderers as they want onto the point. To be very hard for TR to reinforce this. NC is going to use the Galaxy now as a spawn solution. As the Reaver almost, street scum, almost died. Rag dropping out the Galaxy to hold the ridge again. Same play as last time, Max is on the ridge. Vanguard's coming in just to shoot through the doorways here. We all know what's going to happen next. They're just going to huddle in this corner, and a few people with C4 is going to come in, throw a C4 and kill half the TR force. You hate to see it, but I know it's going to happen. NC on the roof, tickling every doorway that they can. It's a lot of matches in that corner. We've seen that TR putting all their eggs in one basket, the basket being the A point. NC just trying to get as many kills as they can before pushing in.
My connection having some difficulty here. Too much cheese, Doctor. That's the issue. Too much cheese. Even my connection hates to see this. A turtle on Chimney Rock.
There's a lot of things shooting this A point. It's going to be a long 2 minutes for TR. Every man and his dog wants to shoot a doorway, wants to shoot a window. There's a few TR matches here which are very almost dead. They're already down to the last corner of the building. 1 minute 40. All NC have to do is push in through this doorway and go left. That's all they have to do. The TR in the corner aren't in range of the capture point. And obviously as soon as NC tickle this point, they're going to have to leave this corner. Yeah, with the back to the corner.
Just cringing.
I mean, it was a great effort by TR, but we knew what was going to happen there.
Yeah.
They
Chimney Rock.
Yeah, they gambled on that.
It's just not viable. It's just not viable. It was one of the lanes where when I was testing short stack last season, I was like, if we play, you know, TM, the predecessor to KATS, on this lane, and we try the turtle, we are going to get farmed. And what just happened there? TLDR unfortunately got farmed. Because turtling on that particular base is quite simply impossible against a team of equal or more skill. And that's just how it is. So, you know, it was obviously the last ditch effort. It's like, alright, maybe we don't have enough nanites to, you know, do like a more traditional approach. So we'll just give it a go. But it was never going to work, unfortunately. Even my connection was like, I hate to see this, and made me DC from TeamSpeak here. So, yeah, no, it is what it is.
I mean, they're already behind. They had to try something. I think that's probably the best chance they're going to get. But I think they could have done better if they contested the air. I mean, they had plenty of time. I don't think NC would have gone for the point. But here we see NC are going for the point here. Big Galaxy drop here, pushing across the I building onto the capture point itself. Not many TR here to defend. None at all by the seams of it. TR giving the base to NC. What is the TR response? They're probably in the rear, maybe playing mosquitoes or something. You just seen that TR are in the warp gate. More likely pulling mosquitoes or galaxies to try and push this point again. Having a look towards the warp gate, I don't see any mosquitoes en route. Tumor Skylance just filled with the sound of NC Maxes stomping around the base itself. You hate to hear it. And with this eerie quiet, NC know for a fact something's going to come their way. And what will that response be?
Well, Path does have a Liberator up, so sorry, Deathbringer has the Liberator up. So if they try to do a Galaxy drop, the Galaxy might actually die before it reaches its
No
intended target.
TR population in the warp gate. Where are they? Where have they gone? Have they moved to the tech plant? Have they gone for defense? No TR population there. Looking for the TR. I'm not seeing them anywhere. Like, where
I
are
mean,
you?
they're still a constant. I mean, they're missing a couple people. It's 46 to 48% on the continent here. But I don't see them anywhere. They said they might be getting set up at the tech plant. I'll have a look here.
Oh, we do see a horde of harassers coming in. The light brigade is here. I'm not sure what they're going to actually be able to accomplish here, but we do have a horde of harassers more or less fighting among themselves for passage through the underpass here. Coming in from the south. It just seems that TR have given up by the looks of it. They just want to drive harassers. Vanguards intercepting the said harassers. Seems like these harassers are hell-bent on taking down any sort of air vehicle. We do see these harassers have made their way north towards Chemical. I'm not sure what they hope to achieve. It just seems that they want to do a harasser race. We're starting to see TR slowly coming into the spawn room here, Skylands Barrier. They do have a few maxes coming up, but those harassers might have provided short-term distraction, but TR haven't capitalized on that. The Reavers have returned to try and control the spawn room here. Maxes are pushing out spawn room, pushing down towards the A point.
Oh no, they're pushing out the spawn room. Oh no! Oh no, they're pushing out the spawn room. Oh no. They did two maxes made it into the eye shape. I mean, barely a sliver of health.
I mean, you hate to see it, but those harassers, they could have, like, you know, at least give some fight support to that push, but they just drove up the north to happier lands. And that's where we start to see the breakdown of TR here. 10 seconds away from NC capturing. It just seems that TLDR have lost some sort of cohesion. That push there was very wasteful. The harasser push was even more wasteful, it seemed.
A new conglomerate has taken the facility.
That plant already back capped. KATS, they've already got a Galaxy ready to go to pick up the maxes from the previous base because it wasn't destroyed. I think that Galaxy's been alive since the start of the half.
And the thing is, like, it's like KATS aren't doing anything special. It's just like TLDR are playing very weird, I would say, and just playing into KATS' hands. We do see a lot of Mosquitoes coming from the warp gate. We do see a Galaxy coming in. Will we see a counter drop? Obviously, we won't see a counter drop because the NC are already at the tank light. So, the question is, have they given time for NC to get onto point and start to fortify? Yes, they have. NC already have a Sunder on the capture point. It's going to be even more hard for TLDR to resecure this base, as we saw in the first round. TR pulling a lot of vehicles to gain control of the base, taking out the NC Galaxy.
It's just so KATS doing the fundamentals of the LaneSmash approach just so well. You know, it's something that they've always done pretty well. And on certain lanes, you know, turtling can can counter these fundamentals, right? Which is what in part makes that that kind of secondary meta to LaneSmash very powerful. But here we see the air, on this lane, this very traditional lane, air control, vehicle control, infantry control, really, that kind of cross-domain coordination, allowing KATS with that solid understanding and the solid execution of these fundamentals.
Yeah, have a lot of galaxies.
They could just run away with it.
Are they going to do a gallop up on the roof? Are they going to form up cohesively
well,
and put it onto point?
Let's hope they do a balcony and a teleporter drop. Like that is what will really help them. That is really the only chance that they have. And they've got someone on balcony, and they've drove a prowler in through the vehicle bay to kill the Sunday, and now they've got 2 people exiting the bunny hole, but there's a Max waiting to greet them. So they're just really spread out, which is not going to work against KATS, whose rotations have been really spot on thus far, Now, I'm waiting at the gun deck, looking for some pop from TR, but they're just not even attempting it.
Not really sure what's happening to the northwest. With a lot of TI infantry, probably pilots up to bail out of vehicles, trying to hunt down a harasser.
SCU compromised.
And as we saw there, TR brought in galaxies, they brought in mosquitoes to, try and get control of this base. Why didn't they do that with Scanlan's battery? Why did they push those harassers? And then try to push out with infantry straight after? That makes no sense to me.
I mean, obviously I could say stuff like, oh, maybe they're kind of burnt out after outfit wars or whatever. But to be honest, they came in like their openers, like in my opinion, were totally wrong for this lane. In that Sunder herd in the first half, they didn't even have a Sky Guard, right? So they couldn't really have some powerful anti-air in the start. And so, yeah, it was just, the approach was wrong from TLDR, and yeah, it just wasn't going to work.
Every entranceway has a max. Whether it be a shield, a door, an angle,
Exactly,
a harasser or a
KATS are playing
sunder.
it really well. Like, they've got the solid understanding of the foundations, right, of the traditional meta, and they've just carried that forward to a 6-0. They've played really well, really solidly. So TLDR were going to have to be perhaps more creative, or perhaps swing back the other way and be more traditional with their approach. But they went for the turtle meta in the second half, which doesn't apply to this lane, and their turtle ability was called into question after they failed to hold Heiko Chemical Lab in the first half.
I find
So,
your effort lacking.
KATS
right now,
KATS are doing
they've
really
got-
well, like with very limited manpower. Like we do see Shrimpy here, he just held off like a very sizable force of TR on himself, and he's just falling back, and more TR just getting baited in for the remaining NT maxes. And KATS are doing really well to maximize control with like not even a fifth of the manpower.
maximize, really?
Yeah.
Maximize.
I mean,
Trip runs away with a max.
it wouldn't be a game.
Maximize.
It wouldn't be a game without a shitty pun.
That is true. That is true. I mean, this tech plant, the setup is really good, but technically, there is a way to break it. But TLDR just
I mean, it is
Yeah.
it is obvious that Cats have done maximum effort on this base here.
No, no, no.
And it's you hate to see it, and TR haven't min-maxed either.
uh, so yeah, Cats did really well. Solid play. Like you would expect nothing less than what Cats showed today. They did really well.
Cats
TLDR
take the base.
Has taken the
6-0.
facility.
But I do
There we
feel
go.
that TLDR didn't really. It's kind of hard. Like I don't think like Cat played like. Well, yeah, they played really well, but I feel like I just feel like
End of match.
TR just.
Congratulations.
I don't know. They just played
To KATS
weird.
on winning with 6 points. To TLDR
They
0.
they gambled too much. I think.
Feel free. Sorry, team captains, please hop up to interview channel for interview with the casters. Thank you all for playing.
So yeah, there we go. A good, a good solid showing from Cats and TLDR perhaps with a more questionable approach. But then again, I guess it's more kind of hindsight for us as
Yeah, I
casters.
mean,
So
obviously we do see the bigger picture. We are looking from a top down. We're not boots on the ground. We don't see what the nanite situation is. We don't see like conflicting orders. We don't really see how it is because for all we know, they could have like done really well in places that we've not actually seen. Obviously, we've just seen from our point of perspective. Like I know people complain to me quite regularly that you didn't watch me kill 10 guys on the point. Or you weren't looking here, you weren't looking there. So for all we know, Tia could have been doing some backcaps that I missed. You never know these things. Like there could have been
no,
there
no,
could have been there could have been an
we
attempt.
didn't miss any. Trust me, we didn't miss any.
But you know what I mean. It's like it's
Yeah.
kind of obvious that TR did actually take a step back and then tried to come up with some options, and then we saw a harasser push and then an infantry push right after. Not too sure why those harasser decided to drive all the way to Hicatech plant. They could have stayed around the base perimeter just to try and keep the Weavers busy while those guys pushed out the spawn. That was kind of a, I don't know, that kind of action just comes across as to me as they just lost all cohesion there. But you got to think from their perspective. They are losing quite significantly to a good team, and it's got to be demoralizing. And when you get to that point where there's just no return, obviously your playstyle is going to go from we can win this to let's just have some fun. And I guess it's not really fun to go against a continuous wall of maxes, but in hindsight, that was like maybe one or two maxes every doorway, and had they pushed together, they could have probably overcome those maxes, that kind of thing. And that's where Cats, I think, excel at, where they just, as we said, they maximize the amount of manpower they have to do a lot more, essentially. And but I don't think TR giving up the air dominance in both rounds really helped them, because we saw in the second round, they wanted to go for the turtle. They did really well to get guys on the point, but they just gave so much room
Yeah, I mean,
for
in
every
theory-
window to be smashed, and then they got huddled in
Well,
one corner, and we knew it was going to happen. Like
Exactly.
they're just going to go through one door, tickle a point, that brings the TR out of position in the corner, and then they just get taken apart because every
But, like,
door's covered.
in theory, if you have like a well-timed counter air pull while you're doing a turtle, perhaps it can work on that lane in theory. But then you need to have a much better setup on the point, and all these other little things which, in order to facilitate that even being a remote chance of success. Turtling on this lane, nah. Just if there's any other team captains watching, please don't do it. It doesn't work. I think we're ready for the interview. Okay.
User was moved out of your channel. Channel switched.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh yeah, GG, as we said earlier before you joined. for talking a bit.
Yeah, I suppose I can think of a couple. So for TLDR, explain kind of your reasoning behind your two openers.
The first opener, if you want me to explain that, if you can go on, if you want to go on the map, that was basically I attempted to, the timers are pretty meta in LaneSmash. So first you pull here, you repull here, you clean up, you try to clean up your side of the base, take control of the base, and let maybe the opponent take the point and take the point in the last seconds to take it. As I knew we will not manage to have the air dominance, so not have the control of the base. I tried to switch the timers and to delay the air pool to retake the air dominance in the crucial moments of the last minute. So the plan was to have that Sandys and vehicles up enough time to occupy the KATS guys, and then come back in the back with our air. But my vehicles didn't last as long as I hoped. So yeah, the air was ready to receive our air, and we didn't manage to set up that last push.
Fair enough. And the second opener with the attempt to turtle on Chimney Rock.
Yeah, it was an attempt to turtle, and that was a bit. That was not the. We changed the opening. That was not the one we planned to do, but yeah, seeing that the first opener was not successful, we tried something else on the fly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So Path, congratulations, of course, through to the final. How did you feel that KATS played today?
First of all, thanks. They played really well, the boys. Like, I'm pretty proud of them actually. They fixed a lot of stuff which went wrong in some other matches, and the communication is also a lot better now. We thought they probably a second round do another armor push, and we pre-put like 2 lips to counter that a little bit. But yeah, we didn't expect like a turtle attempt on that base because it doesn't really work, and I think we've seen that.
Yeah, oh for sure. So would you say like one of the strengths of KATS is that understanding of kind of the fundamentals which LaneSmash kind of requires, especially on a lane like Hyokutamus?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's pretty clear that we know that shit, but we are pretty bad at turtling and breaking turtles. So yeah, I think so.
Okay. Dotso, I don't really have any more questions because it was a pretty straightforward match. To
Yeah,
be honest,
it was a very straightforward match there. Complete dominance, I think, by KATS. TR essentially gambling with their openers. Very unfortunate. We did see a lot of maximum use of maxes by NC. We did see TR do their best. I mean, I applaud TR for continuously trying to push the point. Maybe not so much in the second round, but I just feel that you guys were TR were very unfortunate with your openers. And had things been different, maybe against a different team, it could have probably worked out a lot better for you guys. But I've got to applaud you guys for attempting the turtle on the second round. Cause that was probably 4 minutes of absolute hell. So yeah, fair play for that. But other than that, I don't really have any other questions.
Yeah, the match could be pretty boring for us if we just try to play the actual meta, because we knew without air dominance for pretty much all the match, we will not be able to do anything instead of being ground pounded. So we had to try some things, at least fun for us, and also that may work for the opening. And after that, give players some fun in the match, and not just get them demoralized. No.
So I do have one question actually. So after the first round, the Thunder push, like how bad was your nanites at that point after that Sunderer push?
After the first run,
Yeah.
after the first,
Yeah.
I was thinking of that during the strat, and by the way, we didn't spend a lot of the nights as the Sunday push was free, basically, and then we only repulled one row of rivers and or Sundays. The only people with a bit low, who were a bit low on the nights were the maxes, but that's only 45 for 450, so they still had 350. And yeah, we were on Ayoka. We were quite good on the nights, but sadly our push was not that good to retake the point. Sorry, after we get back the air dominance.
Yeah, because we saw like we kind of like theorized that after the Sunderer push had gone in, you guys are going to have to pull mosquitoes to even like contest the air. We didn't see that mosquito pull come in, but then again, that's a further drain on your resources. So I guess you guys were in a situation where, you know, you were trying to decide between, do we pull maxers, do we pull air, do we pull vehicles? And you saw that situation at Heika Chemical, where towards the last minute or so, you pulled in like a lot of prowlers, a lot of lightnings, a lot of ESF to try and contain that base. But I still feel like you guys didn't give yourself enough like fighting time essentially, and very unfortunate for you guys to get on the point and the NC in the serve room to collapse on point. I was very unfortunate to see, but I think you guys did really well in the first half and against KATS, which is like
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with even if we didn't manage to retake the point. I'm pretty happy with the timings we got on the Ayoka defense, because as soon we lost the point, the air call was done. We retake the air quite quickly to be able to pull cheese into the base. But yeah, KATS did very well on staying alive into that point and collapsing on the point at the right moment, taking back SAS and retaking the point at the
Yeah, it was
regathering at the point at the end.
It was really scary actually at a base with
Yeah,
like
Chemical
having
got really close.
with having the Prouders peeking into the doorway and stuff like that. That was actually really scary. That was close, yeah.
Chemical was really close. You hopefully the pilots had switched to infantry already. That's the only reason we held, I think. I mean, GG TLDR.
GG.
User left your channel. User left your channel. User disconnected from your channel.
Oh, total to win, obviously. You know, I think that's a pretty straightforward one. And then obviously later tonight, Dotsaw and I were back, of course, at 23 UTC for Too Late versus Pray for Help. Yeah, could you imagine? No. Oh.